What's up? It's Manu, and we are back for the power rankings for the Beast division of the Frost Battle League Season 12, and I'm joined today by Blue Fusion and Jakar.
Hello, this is Blue.
What's up? I'm Jakar.
Yeah, they did the rankings. I'm sure they were great.
Of course, of course.
I didn't have anything to do with these, so let's get started. I'm just a cameraman. So at number 16 we have Central. Garchomp Boulder, interesting pairing.
Yeah. Let me pull this guy up.
I don't think it's the worst team in the world, by no means. I guess.
I think that it's just kind of like whatever. I don't really know why Urshifu's here. I guess it's
I
a
don't know why
physical
Promo
breaker,
Gas is
but
here.
it's kind of whatever. Yeah, I think that whole back six is like.
After the Urshifu it goes like the mon quality really drops, I think. Salazzle's
Yeah.
okay, but I don't like the other mons. Greedent, I know why Greedent is here, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't love that Garchomp is like your only viable hazard setter. Again, it's one of those teams where it's like, okay, Corv is the main removal again. You see that a lot with Garchomp teams, like they draft Garchomp and then they just don't draft any hazard setters. And it's just kind of
Yeah.
seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Also for someone who hates Primarina so much, you do kind of draft it a lot, dude. Are you sure you don't? You
He
actually
does. He does indeed draft it a lot. So I know, Jakar. So I know you said you're not a big fan of Urshifu on this team, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think it's fine. Obviously, I just don't know the need for it.
I
Still
can
actually.
so I can kind of see the logic of having it here if you want to use Chomp for hazards and Iron Boulder's like your win con, your endgame win cons. So using it to break makes sense in my opinion.
I guess
I
yeah.
don't know
If you're hazard botting Chomp, it's fine. But like then Corv is like I don't know why Corv is here and Regieleki's shit always. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like Primarina might be forced into a position on this team where it needs to do a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of the only special breaker here. Like Sinistcha relies on setup, Salazzle is more of a utility guy, Regieleki obviously isn't great, and that's kind of it for special offense.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't love the team. Again, I think it's fine. It's kind of the case we had with Guardian, which we just did. It's fine. It's certainly ways to win with this team, of course.
For sure, yeah.
I just think that I don't. Obviously, Greedent is there as your normal type. I don't really know why Probopass, Gligar, or Salazzle are there massively. Because you need a poison type, and it's an okay speed tier Salazzle, but yeah.
I think you're just gonna be very sad if you have to bring anything but your top 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Number 15 we have Mr. Friedel. The extremely racist hunch quotes.
That was crazy. I was not prepared to see that.
Ooh, I just don't like.
I
I like the top 3 a lot actually, and the Cosmo works as a Terra captain. But then after you just draft mono bad Pokemon, and I guess Thunder. But there's also Jolteon. So why did you draft a Thunder?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Swalot is good as it's like a good, quote unquote, good cheap poison because it's 2 points and it has decent defenses. But then you have Vileplume. Yeah.
That's weird. I do think that Tinglu is like the only real hazard setter you have, because I don't think Necrozma is going to do it quite often because it's a Terramon. Corporage obviously is very bringable. So yeah, I think Lou's going to be very pressured to run both rocks and spikes, which is limiting it a bit. I think Lou prefers to like run one and then do whatever else, like EQ, whirlwind, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Your ground resists are also kind of shit. Like it's just a rockwood and a Tundi, which is not.
It's like okay, because Araquanid's like fine, I guess.
Yeah, but all you need is like edge quake and then what?
Yeah, you are cooked.
Lou can switch into ground like once or twice, but yeah, that's about it, really.
Can I mute
Why?
for 5 minutes? My professor just told me to go fuck myself, essentially, so I have to go figure this out.
Go ahead, my friend.
Okay.
Also,
Good luck, buddy.
your removal is War Turtle.
Yeah, you don't have removal, is what we're trying to say.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the Steel Beam Copperager is also like okay. It's like a surprisingly fine AV user, but it's not really very bulky, and it's so slow that.
And especially when you have gouging or Aquanid and you have no removal, you're gonna be pressured to run boots a lot, because if I'm facing this team, I'm just leading like hazard stack and then
hazards, right? Yeah.
Thing Lou, if it has to take spikes chip, it's really limiting for it as well.
There's no ghost as well, so you literally just bring.
Yeah.
You spam hazards and then bring your shit spinner to cuck the Ting Lu.
Yeah, you
and
did
then...
draft a Rockwood very early, only to like not have a spin blocker, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird team, there's a lot of flaws with it. I think you can probably fix those with some trades.
Yeah.
This team doesn't need to be an 11-mon team, like that's really a big reason why the quality is so low, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Top 4/5 has a lot of potential. I like the Tundi as well, if you Terra it, which I think he did with transactions, if I remember. So that should be.
Oh, that's good.
Should be fixed.
Yeah, that would be good, and then you can get rid of.
Yeah.
Jolteon for anything.
Bad, yeah. I get wanting a top speed over Valiant. I think that's important, but I don't think Jolteon is the solution.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to number 14, which is Wughead. The Roaring Moon slow. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
This is another, like you said, right? This is another weird Glow King choice. I don't.
Yeah, it's always like I draft around 1-mon, which I don't even think Roaring Moon is really that. I mean, I guess it was like really on the back wheel kind of stuff. It's 14th pick, but still. Ben did get like a round 2 Wellspring.
Yeah, Ben got Wellspring, and,
So
and like
done that.
even like Sneasler feels more like a round 1. Get Roboom on the way back. That's a bit better.
For sure.
It is, yeah. It's weird. It does feel like everything should just be moved to the right once, and then you keep drafting from there. Because yeah, it doesn't really have a guy. I guess I like Moon.
I think what he's trying to do here, because I see a Ursaluna and a Titan, like he's really trying to like play into the Glow King with like Trick Room and obviously Chili into Titan. The Titan is Terror, right? So that makes sense in a way, but it does mean like if you're bringing Titan, you're gonna have to bring like bench one of your actual good Pokemon, because Titan is kind of shit. Obviously removal is limited to Brambleghast, so that's a Pokemon that's gonna have to come more often than you really want it to come, which is also unfortunate because you're benching your Ursaluna or whatever. Team has modes, the team has options, which I like. I just think the utility, like it's heavily focused on Glow King for some reason instead of anything else.
Yeah.
Because your rocker is.
It is, and it doesn't. It doesn't even have like Kyurem or something to back that up.
So I don't think Titan is good or like worth drafting Glow King. I mean, I think it was just drafted because he has Glow King, obviously, but I just don't think it's gonna come often. Especially when your other Terramon is Chiyu, which is just really good. The rocker is Tinkaton. I don't really want to count Lycanroc all that much. The spiker is Brambleghast, which is bad because it's already forced to be a spinner on the team.
I think it's
don't know.
really bad, especially when you're using Moon, which is good at clicking knockoff and U-turn.
Yep.
So having good hazards is really nice for it, and then you just have nothing.
Yep. I do wish.
It's tough.
I like that you don't have a lot of pivots, but the pivots you do have are good because obviously Glow King invites in steals and stuff, which you can then chill out into Chiyu. That's cool. Rotom, same thing. It invites in grass types, Volt into Chiyu. That's fine. That will get you some kills for sure. I just don't love the mon quality, and I think you, after around maybe 5, 6, you took a really weird approach to your last months.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, I'm back. Kinda,
Welcome
sorta. Something like that.
Do you have anything to say about Wughead's team?
Let me pull it up real quick and I will
Probably
see.
going to be things we've already said, but you know, let's give him a shot.
I mean, I presume it's just having Slow King with BU once again and then Terrace of Titans. Pretty cool. I think the main issue with this team is he drafted a lot of mons too early, which I presume you guys
Yeah.
have already talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, okay.
But, mhm.
That's about covers it, I believe. I think you can look at the board and like try to maybe fix your bottom half, and I think the team will become a lot better. And also try to focus a bit more on roles because the roles you have aren't great. Then and number 13 we have Krosov, Dio Speed Gold, Samurai. This is we saw a similar team in
This is
Guardian.
yeah, it's similar to that team.
Mm-hmm.
The speed tiers are a lot worse here. I feel though.
Yeah.
Mianshao is like patching it up a bit.
Mhm.
One thing I
I think
don't get at all is like, why the hell would you draft Electrode on a Deoxys
Yeah.
team?
it's just about
You
to
already
bring
have the like the best speed tier in the game. Why would you get another one? That just makes sense to me.
no reason
yeah.
for that to be there.
I like the hazards a lot. You have obviously
Mm.
Dio, Gastrodon, Vikavolt, Samurai. That's really good. You don't have removal, which is bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your main offensive guys like D-Knight and Arcanine love running items that aren't boots. So if you get rocks up against this team, it's gonna be super limiting for those two specifically. Which isn't great.
I feel like this is a team where you bring the top 5 and then and the last slot is just one of the last 4. Probably Mianshao in most cases, but
I don't think the Electrode is ever coming,
I-
mostly.
no.
No, Electrode is
No
never
reason for
coming.
that.
Maybe
I don't
if it
even
had
know.
Terra, but without Terra it's just not viable.
I don't even know if Florges is coming. It's probably coming occasionally if you really need a fairy type or you need more special offense.
Yeah, this team also
But-
just
Yeah.
loses.
Vikavolt is probably your primary 6th guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe like Florges or Vikavolt, they should come the most, I think. Gastrodon is kind of redundant when you have...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's the best actual mon that likes running rocks on the team, because I don't think you want to run Hazard Dio that much necessarily, but... also, you actually just auto-lose the Spectre, it's crazy. The Ghost chooses the Samurai, that's just not gonna work.
Dark
Yeah.
Hammer, guys, trust.
Very nice. I think that's mostly it from me. I don't really have much else to say.
I mean, yeah, I think this is. I don't recall the name. This is like a Pox team. I presume that's how you pronounce it, Pox team. From the Guardian div. But worse,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Okay. At number 12, we have Geek Yogurts.
A resident
Geek
terrain team.
Oh, what is it?
It's a
Yeah,
terrain
just
team,
concurrent.
but it's also it doesn't have to be a terrain team, which
Yeah.
I like.
It's just an option.
It still has pink urchin, so it's bad, but
I just think you drafted a lot of weird mons. The top 3 is nice,
Yeah.
but then Clefable I don't like. Haxorus is kind of whatever. I don't think it's great this gen. King Gambit.
I don't think
is...
Hexorus is necessary either when you got Tusk and Gambit.
That's true, yeah. And even just like raw Gambit, I don't love because this is, if you look at the type chart, King Gambit is like, it has to be almost like, it's like the defensive glue of the team.
It's holding this bitch together. That's crazy.
It's your ghost resist, it's your dark resist, or your main one anyway, it's your normal resist, it's your fucking ice resist, like it's a lot of things and it doesn't really want to be. So that's gonna be interesting. I do think it's just, it's literally just like a hyper offense team plus Clefable and Muck, so it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how this plays out, I think.
It's also really annoying, the ground type matchup with Jugulus being your only...
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Your only resist, and also it's Terror, and also it's Iron Jugulus.
How do you even draft a Psychic weak team? Like, how does that happen?
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Even the fairy resists aren't amazing because Muck should probably not come to that many games, and then Moth is Terra, so if Moth Terras and Muck isn't on a team, you just get Specs Moonblasted basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty rough. The touch shot's pretty rough. It is just hyper offense, so you know. But I think Clefable and Muck can probably change because of that. There's got to be something better on offer than Clefable and Muck, and Haxorus even.
Yeah, I think as utility-wise though, you're fine. I mean, the Spiker is shit, which is unfortunate because Bundle really likes spikes. The Rockers are okay. It's probably just going to be mostly Clefable. And then Pivots are fine. All of them are bringable, which is good. You have Encore, you have your Taunt, you have your Knockers. It works. I like it. I think you just gonna have to play your team, your games as fast as you can, because the defensive flaws are here and they're gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to I like the idea of having an electric terrain team that doesn't have to be electric terrain, but then it's still, the other mode is still just hyper offense anyway. So it's a little bit weird.
I think you're just gonna have to kind of bring Concursion to most games because you want to like abuse your mons as much as you can.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, solid draft. I think it will do fine. And this guy is like, I know he really likes to like run weird sets, like cook, as we say. So we'll see. I'm
got a little chef in the building.
I'm excited to see
it.
what's gonna happen here. Anything else to add, Mr. Blue Fusion?
Blue Fusion would be lagging. Oh, never mind.
I'm fine now. I was having some issues before, but I think, so I missed out on the conversation here, but I think the basis of it was that this team is an electric terrain team that can function outside of terrain, which I think is super cool. I think the top 3 is super strong here. I think, but then the middle mons are just kind of weird.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah. It is technically an electric terrain team that can function outside of electric terrain team, but I don't really think it can function outside of electric terrain that well.
It can in some matchups, but I think he's just gonna be like, I want my Concursion. I'll be
Yeah.
I think you're gonna bench Haxorus a lot. I think the
I don't see Haxorus
the ones you're gonna bring
ever.
the most is like your top 3. And then Clefable probably a lot as like the defensive piece, and then it's gonna be one of King Gambit and Jugulus and Incursion.
Yeah. Agreed.
Alright, I think that about covers it. So let's move on to number 11, which is Ghoul in his pajamas. This is cool. Has a lot of good mons, I think.
It has a lot of good mons. I didn't want to rank it quite so low, but I just really don't like the speed tiers, and
they are kind of cope, yeah. It's like Weavile and then 2 shitters, Tentacruel. It doesn't really count.
Yeah, it's
realistically it's
pretty tough.
Weavile to Shifu.
Yeah,
and I think it really that's particularly bad for this team because you have mons that are capable of taking a hit like Hatterene and Skarm and Tentacruel, but when you are facing something that is positive attack nature, it all of a sudden kind of shifts those matchups quite a lot, I think.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
Your physical bulk is really just limited to like Skarm and Lando as well, but I don't necessarily think Lando is a defensive Pokemon. Like, it just has Intimidate, so it can come into things, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, your hazards are very reliant on Skarmory. Like, you can run Rocks and Spikes, like Rocks, Lando, Spikes, Skarm, obviously, but then they kind of have to come every single game. Like Skarm, Lando can come every single game, that's fine, but Skarm doesn't really want to on a team like this, I think, so that's kind of limiting.
Yeah.
But everything else looks fine, I think, utility-wise, so that's good.
Yeah, and the pivots are like okay. You know, Lando and Tentacruel are good pivots, but
the main issue here is that obviously, like a lot of these teams have, is that you should basically have two viable Revengers, and then one of them is Weavile, and then one of them is Shifu if it's Scarf. But you have to, like, this team is, I would love to run Helmet into this team. Like, the Weavile obviously, triple Axel, your Shifu, the triple whatever, I think it's called Surging Strikes. Then Lando is very nice, like Chip on U-turns with helmets. So you're gonna have to be, it's gonna feel really bad if you run Scarf Shifu and then you take literally half your health from like one attack.
If you got a bulky fairy with a helmet on, ooh.
Yeah. Or even like a steel. I guess not for Shifu, but.
Or water. Bulky water with a helmet. Water. Actually, water's really messed this up.
I think that's something you're gonna have to be worried about, because people are gonna spam helmet into you for sure, and you are very weak to it. So even like Tentacruel, if it's spinning or flip turning, takes chip. Skarm takes chip. You know, it's a lot of helmet weak mons.
Yeah. But it does have a lot of good pieces. Like you say, the mon quality is still high overall.
All the mons are good.
So I do like it.
Aside from Skarm, Grafia, and Salzburg, all the mons are very good.
Yeah.
And two of those are shitters, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I think we're done here. So let's move on to number 10, Germois. Still don't know how you actually pronounce that, but I like pronouncing it.
I think Germois is little Germois here has a bit of a, I guess, a bulky offense team is what he was going for. I don't know how much I like that.
I mean, most tournament teams tend to be like more on the fat side, but
yeah,
this one is just like feels like a lacks a certain oomph or something. Like obviously Torn Treads is also like you didn't usually when you draft Torn you got like a really good, like you get like a Tinglu or like a really good offensive guy, but Treads is just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Zoomrill is okay as a physical breaker, I suppose. Hoopa is really drafted really early. This is another one of the Storm Hoopa teams. What the hell?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
How does that?
I guess there is there must be some kind of thinking about
maybe we're just
break with Hoopa and I don't know.
Yeah, you have a decent Spark, you have a good Rocker in Cleavor, even if it doesn't really want to come every game, but it's fine. At least Threads can Rocks in those games where it doesn't come. I think Torn is like supported okay here, but I just don't see how these mons work together as a whole all too well after like the top two.
Yeah,
I agree. I feel like this team feels pretty slow as well, just on average.
Yeah.
It's really slow.
If you're running a bulky Treads, then your only speed is literally just Torn or like a Scarfer. Which to be fair, Cleavor and Hoopa don't mind Scarf, but other than that, yeah. And your only priority is a Zoomrill, so that's not amazing.
You got Vacuum Wave, which is like,
yeah,
I guess is
Luna
a
has
thing.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about
It's
that.
like whatever. Yeah, I don't know there's much more to say on this team because it's just kind of a bit weird, and I would like to see it function.
It exists, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think Pex is also like kind of weird.
He just drafted a lot of slow offensive months, which isn't great.
Would have been nice to have another fast guy other
Mhm.
than Torn to try and clean up or to do something. I don't know.
It doesn't even have to be like above 110. Just like 110 speed would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because your speed really just relies on Scarfers now, which isn't amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it from me. Anything else to add?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay. Then at number 9 we have our good friend Kuma, the Hydrapple.
I think we can hold off on the goods. After seeing this team, it's like, oh, a little bit up in the air. I really hate this team.
I don't love it either. Obviously it's very underpowered because it's not often I say that the best mon on the team is Palafin, but somehow it is.
It is, yeah. It's like, it's underpowered and it's also not like bulky. You have Petch.
Well, I think it's bulky.
And I guess screens.
Hydrapple, Petch.
I guess you have Petch, Hydrapple, yeah.
E-Tran's bulky, it doesn't really want to be defensive, but...
yeah, I guess it's fine. I just hate the top 3 so much.
Yeah.
Like, I think Latios is just a bad Pokemon anyway, and obviously round 1 Hydrapple is because he wanted to use it, then Finn is fine.
It's one of those things where you dig your own hole, but obviously you wanted to use Hydrapple and you drafted it round 1. I can respect that, but honestly, everything drafted out, like this just feels like such a one-dimensional team even.
Yeah.
You
I know what you mean. It's like you set hazards with shocks, and then you like, I guess, try and take advantage of that with Petch in the mid game, pivot around a little bit, and then try and end game with like Finn or Drapple or something. I don't know.
I don't think Hydrapple is capable of endgaming.
I'm coping here, man. It's just weird.
I just think that, like, because your hazard setters are on gray, your removal is defog, so you're gonna be, if you're wanting to like add hazards to your game plan, you're gonna basically have to accept that you can't do anything about hazards on your own, which means you're gonna have to likely run boots in your Hydrapple, your Palafin, maybe even Pecharon. I just think you're gonna
I think it's a waste of a Pecharon as well.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be like really struggling to build like actual game plans here, because what win cons do you have, right? Like you have Palafin, I guess that can be a win con. Maybe like a Calm Mind Weakness Policy, Latios or Agility, whatever the hell. But aside from that, it's really just like offensive mons, defensive mons.
I don't know why Grimmsnarl is here. It was something that was weird to me. It was like Grimmsnarl is just a dark and a fairy type, I guess. It's for the type chart.
Screens
is okay.
After round 2, I helped him like draft a bit. Like I told him like you should probably pick this and that, and then we were just like looking at like the board, and there were some weaknesses we needed to patch, and we needed a dark, but all the darks left were so bad that we just went like, you might as well just pick Grimmsnarl, and you have a good and decent dark and fairy at once. It adds some utility. You can run like screens offense, which is nice, because screens do open up stuff like Heatran a lot from just like running offensive sets with like Flame Charge and then Terra, whatever the hell.
That is true. That is nice, and I think it's nice as well because you have Petch on this team, which is a really good T-Spikes absorber. So Finn is opened up more, so that is a bonus.
For sure, there's definitely potential here.
Okay, so we just hit another issue. I am back now.
Blue Fusion is here occasionally. Yeah.
Crawling out of his hole again.
Do you have anything to say about Kuma?
I just...
As a person.
As a person, I love him. But... I don't know, man. This team... I can't really say much about it, because I know he wanted the Terra Hydrapple. So he decided to pick that round 1, and then because of that, his team just kind of... there was not tons to work with after that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't really think it can add much.
I think we all know the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
He drafted the first two by himself, and then he got Minnow to help, and it's not how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh well,
Uh,
it'll be interesting to see. I think I don't know if you're necessarily gonna like this team a lot, but it'll be interesting. I hope you do well, my friend.
Of course.
So from one FBL mod to another, at number 8 we have Parasite, the Spectre.
I liked a lot about this team. And I like having. I think Rotom is a good partner for Spectre as like a
Yeah,
cheap secondary ghost,
I like
but
it.
I really dislike the fact that Spectre is your only special attacker.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
I think that really limits the team.
For sure.
Obviously, you have hands as an end gamer, but it just
Yeah, I don't really like Gliscor as a Spectre partner because it's so weak to knock.
Mhm.
I mean, at least like before the ability activates.
yeah.
Like the only real mon you really want to switch into knock here is like Iron Hands and Fez, which is a bit unfortunate.
Mhm.
It does punish normals pretty well. Like you have Hands, Metagross, even Gliscor can come in on those. That's really nice. You have Healing Wish support. You have good removal. You have good hazard. So the rolls are there. You can win with this. You have a lot of pivots as well. It's just a bit awkward, I think. And obviously the lack of special offense really limits Spectre because everyone is gonna have at least one, or maybe even two. Spit FAV or Spit F walls or whatever the hell for Spectre, and then nothing else is gonna take them on because they're gonna sit in the back until Spectre comes out the entire game, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really tough. I do like Hand Spectre, but it's going to be tough to really actually put Spectre to use, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have to rely a lot on hazards and like early game breaking, but like Ogerpon and Hands, I think.
Yeah.
Also the speed is like offensively, the speed is really quite limited to just Ogerpon and Spectre. I don't.
Uh-huh.
Cyclizar is a good offensive Pokemon, it is pretty weak and it relies on Life Orb a lot if it actually wants to do damage, and then everything else is just kind of fat. Or slow offense.
Yeah. It's just a little bit awkward.
Could have done better, should have watched more Wagon Fruit videos. I know we actually did watch it, so yeah.
Oh, well, there's no excuse then.
No excuse. Anything else anyone wants
To
to
watch
say?
again, I guess. No, I think my main concern was already talked about, and it's that Spec is the only socially offensive mod on this team.
Fair enough. Alright, moving on to the top 7, we have Dawn Platinum. This is an interesting
This
one.
is another awkward team. I really like the top 3.
There's a lot of bad mons on the team, I think.
There is. It's like top 3 is good, and I quite like Terra Thunderous. I don't know if it's necessary next to Anam, maybe, I don't know, but the rest of the team, like the quality, kind of shit.
Yeah.
Donphan's okay, and Mesprit's okay, but it feels like a really early Quillfish.
Mhm.
And Registeel's just a steel type. Just has the steel typing. Kind of same as Vaporeon has the water typing.
I think it's a very type charts looking draft. I mean the utility there is like okay because you have good Rocker and Mesprit, you have good Spiker, you have I don't think Donphan is good, but you have good removal. It's fine, I think. I just think that like your top 3 really hates Terra Poison, and like what do you have to deal with that? You have like Donphan and Mesprit, but I mean Mesprit can be like offensive, but it really relies on like setup to do so, and Donphan I don't think has the luxury to really be like offensive much here. Like you can run like max attack on it, but then even still. I just think you're gonna have a really tough time actually breaking like the Terra Poison mons, because they also hardwall Quillfish completely. They also absorb your toxic spikes. Registeel is just bad. Vaporeon is bad. Thunder Y is good, but I don't think it's gonna Terra often when you have an Enam that can Terra. So it's just kind of here for like maybe speed, and without Terra the mon is kind of meh. So I don't love it, honestly.
I also don't think is Munchlax good. It's got a lot of HP.
When I was doing the legendary PRs, I encountered a Munchlax, and Crysight told me he drafted it last season and he beat Spectre with it.
Okay, well there you go.
He ran Bulldoze, and then the speed lowered, and then he was able to like revenge it with like Meow or something. I don't remember.
Oh hell yeah.
So
there's things to do, I guess.
That's what you can do basically. But you can also just run like Scarf Sneasler or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have options.
I don't know. It's just weird. I think it kind of feels like a typical 11-1 team where
11-1 teams always feel very low quality, and you can see that here. I would really love if you invested into a secondary ground, but like a really offensive one, or a really strong offensive psychic type. That would really help the team a lot, I think, because you need something that punishes Terra Poison. Because obviously you can run Terra Ground Enam, that's like an option, but Enam really prefers running like Fairy or Stellar even, which is unfortunate for this one, I think.
Yeah, bit tough. It's a bit tough, I don't know.
I think that covers it, so let's move on to number 6, Yahiak. This one I like, it has a lot of good mons. There's a Sylveon, I don't like Sylveon, but it's okay.
There's a Sylveon and a Terra Chinchino.
Hazards are fucking crazy, holy shit.
But the hazards are really good. It's unfortunate that your removal is Tidy Up and Braviary, though. Tidy Up and Defog. Because it's like fine, but it's annoying getting rid of your own hazards when your hazard game is this good. And you have such a good knockoff user, like Meow will just knock off everything.
I like the fact
but I think the team
is
good.
Like one of the best Meow answers.
yeah, I like doing that. That is a nice little touch.
I do think it's a real shame that when these hazards are so good, like this is one of the best maybe like the best hazards I've seen so far, and then your removal is fucking Cinchino and Braviary. Like,
yeah,
really
it's
sad.
really fucked up, isn't it? Yeah.
Really wish there was a spinner here.
I agree.
Especially because Kyurem also likes running anything but boots, so that's a bit unfortunate. I don't know why Hippowdon's here.
Yeah,
it's just a ground type, I guess, but it's shit and it doesn't...
Sand hinders you more than it helps you out, I think.
I think it really does, because you can't run like leftovers, Kyurem, and Meow is getting chipped way more from like than it already is from like helmets and things.
Yeah, I think overall, the top 6 is
good.
Top 6 is amazing.
7 even. I think Braviary is very valid.
Yeah, but I think the back few mons can probably be reworked a bit to fix this team.
I do worry a lot about the type chart though. There's like Empoleon is the glue of the team, being like it's the only fairy, the only flying resist. It is pretty much the only ice resist because I don't really count Infernape. Braviary is your only viable ground switch in.
I think this is why I really liked the team, but I tried to put it as tried to hold off on placing it as long as I could, because the type chart is just so weak. Yeah, I think this might be like I like the team as much as I like it. I think there's too many flaws with it to make it really good. I think it's maybe placed a little bit too high, personally. But oh well. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's about it. So let's move on to number 5, Big Pugbud. is cool. Has good mons on it.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I quite like this team. I like Dark and Quack together. I think they're a really good combo.
I've seen that one a lot in almost every division, I think, that pairing.
Mm.
Mhm.
I think the Spiker being Glim is a bit annoying.
Yeah, Glim doesn't love running spikes, but maybe it can here because you do have a lot of other rockers, so it's fine in that sense.
Mhm.
The removal is sketchy, but you do have 2 bringable options, so I think it's fine. I like the Screamtail here. I think it supports Darkrai pretty well
Mm.
for like speed control and all that stuff. Serp I don't love,
Yeah,
especially
I think.
when it's like you're overpaying for it a bit. But
Uh,
I do wonder why
I
it
agree
was
with
drafted
that.
so early.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe he wanted like a secondary speed option, I guess, because obviously when you only have Darkrai and Scream as your speed,
Mhm.
as I've said like a lot before, it makes revenging really annoying. But I don't love that.
But Serp isn't
yeah.
even like a Revenger,
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean it can be, but until with Terra, it's a lot more bringable as a Revenger, but it's not amazing still. It just doesn't have a lot of immediate power, which you need to revenge, sort of. And like Scarf wise, I don't really think there are many good Scarfers here. Like obviously Scarf Quack, I guess, but that's a bit limiting. And then Mens can be a Scarfer, but it's a lot. It likes doing that a lot more with Terra, I believe.
Yeah.
Rotom's a decent one, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, but I think that it has a lot of good paths to win.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
although Mence is like annoying a little bit to use without Terra, it's still very capable. So I think that there's going to be some really interesting builds you can do with this. Screamtail is a really cool Pokemon here, especially with if you get like T-spikes up, then that could be really fucking annoying.
For non-Terra Mens, and one thing I think I would work like nicely here on this team, I think, is like when let's say your opponent has like a pretty meh fairy, so they're gonna like try to check Salamis with the steel. You run like Eject Back Draco and then go out to the Quack, and then it creates setup opportunity in that way. That's something you could like maybe try one or few times.
Yeah, some creative things to do here. It's a cool team.
For sure, it has potential and it's a good team. Good
Yeah,
rolls.
sure.
You have everything you need to win, really. No, not much flaws. I immediately see.
No. I'm excited for this team.
At number 4, we have Baby Dragonzord. This is Greninja Zapdos. There's another Terra. Oh no, I guess it's like you have Sandaconda for drill. I don't know how effective that's going to be.
Yeah,
If I never in MLP I never brought Hippowdon and Drill on the same team, so I don't think you're ever gonna bring Sandaconda and Extra Drill on the same team. But you know you could, good. I like the Mon quality a lot. I think every Mon here is good aside from Sandaconda. I wish the Zapdos wasn't Terra, but it's a decent defensive Terra. I've used it before, it's okay. And roll-wise, this looks really strong. You have good hazards on all fronts. Removal is actually really.
I really like
really
the
good,
rolls. The removal is good, and I like the type chart a lot. This is kind of like it's similar to Yahi's team, but the type chart is really nice. It's obviously not the be all and end all, but I think that this is a good example of the fact that doubling up on broken types is not bad. Like we got 2 water types, 2 ground types, 2 steel types, 2 darks. It's like I think it's really nice.
It's a very good team, yeah. I think the double steel is super needed when you draft drill, like I said before.
Yeah.
Very good team. Weezing is super good here. The Ogerpon is supported super well. Greninja Zapdos is obviously a very good pairing, so I like it. I think this team is going to do very well.
I like the pivots a lot as well.
And
It's really good team.
I like the fact that Ogerpon is here as well, because it means you can take some pressure off of Greninja to revenge things. And even with drill, you can do the same if it's like not, if it's like in sand. But
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I
Shall we move
think
on?
that's about it from me.
I think.
Same. Good team. I like this one a lot. So
That's a cool
at
team.
number 3 we have Ben.
Ben.
Benjamin. With round 2, Terra Wellspring.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's happened in
Which
Mythical
just
as
makes,
well.
which just fucking makes me beg the question. I know that Kuma wanted Hydrapple, but Wellspring gets to you on the wheel, and you don't. I don't know. Regardless, this team is very cool.
I mean, I basically, I want to say I drafted this because I basically gave him the plan. Basically made him a plan after like he got the Iron Crown, which even then I suggested that as well. But it's a super strong team. Like you have Terap, Ogopron support each other super well. Iron Crown is a very good steal, makes like another booster speed option as well with like split setup potential. Crook is super nice because it punishes their Ghost a lot for like Terapagos.
Rap, yeah. I think Sable has really nice util here, and what I really like about this team as well is that it hits really hard from special and physical.
It's a very offensive team, but you have defensive options as well. Very flexible team because like Crook and Coalfish can, I mean mostly Crook, but like they can be offensive and then defensive as well. Crown can be defensive if it wants to. Even Sableye can be like a good screener or something. You have a lot of options here.
Yeah.
Dedicated hazard setters, you have the best or second best removal in the game. I think
Yeah, Healing Wish with Terap as well. Always nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing Ben doesn't like about the team is that the pivots are really limited because that guy loves pivoting, so we'll see how that works out for him. But I honestly, like a lot of these mons are just so good that it doesn't really matter, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think just be better, Ben. How about that? How about you be better at the game and just make sick doubles?
Yeah, I think that my least favorite thing about the team is the fact that the top speed is Raikou, which is unfortunate. But like, it's like he wanted Weavile, but then it got sniped very early on. So he was kind of like forced. Like there wasn't much else he could do other than like draft Talonflame. But I think Raikou is better top speed than Talonflame personally.
I think I totally agree with that.
Especially because it still has Scald, and also you have good ways to deal with grounds in this team. So I don't think it's... I agree that it's like... I don't like Raikou that much, but it's not too bad.
It works here. I think the backs is going to be very crucial though on the team because obviously people love running Terra Grass into mons like Wellspring, and it's good here as well, right? Because there's a Crook and there's a Raikou. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of Terra Ghost necessarily. So backs is going to be very important here. I think you're going to have to run like not Dragon Dance every week and really focus on like predicting your opponent's Terra mons and figuring out how to deal with that basically. That's something I would advise to you.
No. See that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this team is an offensive powerhouse. I think we covered most of the reasons why this team is ranked so high. So I think we should move on.
Okay. Number 2 we have Afonso. Another one of my creations.
Draft, yeah. I saw this team without realizing that Afonso had gone to you for help, and I saw this team and I was like, this fucking reeks of... This is typical.
Yeah.
Bloody to Uxie? Oh god, this guy loves Uxie.
Yeah, it's round 6 too, which is value. I wish I could have gotten a round 6 Yuxi, but mythical players are smart, so I can't get good value picks. But yeah, like the offensive really plays into each other super nicely. You have there as a root, then you need obviously a speed option, which is Cinderace, which is super nice. They all pivot into each other. Lando.
I like the fact that you're not relying on Zarude's speed tier because you got Lando. I think that's really nice.
Absolutely, yeah, because it opens up Zarude a lot to run like more, you know, the Spadef bulk up sets or whatever. I've recently found that like when using Zarude, the best sets are like max speed, like not, obviously not max speed, but like you run the speed you need and then you run max HP, put the little rests of attack, a bit of EVs into like speed def or attack, and then you run bulk up. I think those sets are super good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Then there's like Blastoise for spin, Klefki is a spiker, screen support for Zarude, which is super nice. Yuxi is a good rocker or lead. Lycanroc again takes some pressure off of Cinderace for avenging things, and then Dragalagy, we all know why it's here, poison, and then of course a Spectre check.
And Dunsparce.
Yeah.
One thing I like about drafts is like when you can see like, oh, this mon was drafted for this reason, and this mon is here for this. That's how you should draft, I think, and you can really see that in this team.
Yeah, I think it looks very intentional, and just think it's gonna. The only issue I can maybe foresee is fairy types could be a little bit annoying, but you know, Dragalagy I think is good into fairy types, even if it doesn't actually resist it because of the Spadef.
It's very easy to like slap an AV on or something and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I do think Klefki,
there's not really anything.
Klefki is very important here. I wish we could have had like points to draft like a secondary steal, but unfortunately we didn't.
Yeah.
So Klefki is going to be super important here into like dragons and fairies. So I hope you don't run into too many teams with very good dragons and fairies. But yeah, I think that should be fine for you. Klefki's just going to have to come a lot, but I think that's fine. I think your top 7 is really good, and then maybe like Dragalagy and the Dunsparce come sometimes. And I also like the fact that like Lycan is Terra here, because obviously Zarude is going to Terra like almost every game, but there might be like, at least people have to respect the Lycanroc, because if you don't prep for it, it can actually be super devastating.
Yeah, it's really good, especially because it has priority, and the speed tier on it is really threatening. I do like. It was one of my favorite things about it was the Terra Lycanroc as a secondary to Zarude. I think it's really nice. Annoyingly well prepared. Good work, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm a new classic.
I draft good teams for everyone but myself in FBL. And then at number 1 we have Calais with the first big Dragapult. I haven't actually seen this team yet, so I am excited to hear you guys say like, why is this team number 1?
Can lead us in, please.
Yeah, so I think there was a team from Guardian which he ranked super high. I think it had Swampert and Metagross on it, I think, if I'm recalling correctly. And I think that team had solid mons all around, and I think this team specifically sort of takes that team to a higher level. I think speed tiers are awesome on this. The Terra captains are pretty solid picks here, and Keldeo and Ogerpon. You do have Healing Wish if you want to run. You have 2 Healing Wish mons actually, which I think is pretty interesting if you need to bring something back kind of later on.
Yeah, I think that's cool because it opens up options with Pult.
For sure,
more.
you can use
I think that just in general, I really like primarily the pivoting on this team. I think is super strong, obviously, and the hazard game is very good. With it's a bit annoying that your removal is shit, but I really like the way that the top 7 overall play off each other. I think there's a lot of opportunity to just like click buttons. Particularly the fact that the offense all has pivoting moves makes it really difficult to position around this team when it has such strong hazards as well. It's gonna be really annoying to fight, and Dragapult teams are good at being annoying to fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Keldeo was drafted maybe a little early, but I don't mind it because it's a good Terra captain, and it works with Dragapult fairly well. I think Jirachi is important here because obviously the Pult's main issue are fairies, The thing what I don't like about this is that it doesn't really have super good options to like break fairies very well.
Yeah.
But I think that's manageable with like Terra Keldeo. And then I like that Oropon is more. It feels like it's just like a secondary Terra here. It's not the main focus. It's not drafted too early. I really like that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that for especially because you have Keldeo like that similar speed tier, so people have to respect that still.
Absolutely.
Whereas sometimes with Ogerpon teal teams, you just don't really respect the 110 speed tier because it's going to be tiring a lot. But so it frees it up a lot, and it just becomes like a hidden scarf in the back, which is really valuable for this team, especially with Pult, because I think things like to run scarf to get over Pult, and then all of a sudden you have Ogerpon, which fucking you up. I just think it has a lot of really nice options, and it has a lot of stability, which is one of the things that I value in a draft, is stable options to take on as many matchups as you can.
Sure, yeah. I think
especially with Healing Wish support. One of the things I was looking at it and I was thinking like, oh, I don't know, you can run like Life Orb, DD Pult or something into certain teams, or I don't know, you know, something extra like that, because it affords you that freedom, and that's what I really liked about this team.
Every single mono on the team is good. I mean, maybe the bottom two are debatable, but they're still like commonly drafted shitters. They're fine. One quality is super high, which I appreciate. You have a lot of good scarfers. You have good offense. You have good defense. I think it's very well done. I see why it's number 1. So good job, Clyde. We had a lot of people vouching for you that you were really good. So let's see how good you really are.
Off to a good start.
And that about covers it, I think. So thank you for watching and enjoy the season. Peace.